Hello and welcome to your over-enthusiastic game guide. I'm SerroDan, and this guide should hopefully give you a clearer understanding of the rares that are scattered across Draenor, in particular the ones that give you mounts. Okay, so across Draenor there are 6 rares in total that drop mounts, and they are PathRunner, Sulphide, Gorok, Nak the Thunderer, Lacock, and the notorious Poundfist. Over this guide we'll be going over all of them, but let's start with PathRunner. Now PathRunner is a level 93 rare elite with a very low health base and can spawn at one of his 6 random spawn points. Upon a kill he would drop the Swift Breeze Strider. If you're not a keen camper of these sort of things but still want a cool rare mount, then this one's probably for you. Unlike other rares that drop mounts, the spawn timer of this one is not as time consuming, spawning as fast as 5 hours but could take as long as 16 hours. But the beauty with these Draenor rares is that anyone, whether you're Horde or Alliance, who gets a hit, will take this mount home with them. But it does seem that if you're in a group with people who killed it and you can see the NPC, you will get the mount anyway. Even better. Even if you're not a keen camper, they're still obtainable. People who usually come across the rares set up a custom pre-made group, and this is a good habit to get into. Rather than take it all for yourself, be generous, share the love. But whatever you do, don't be this guy. Nobody likes this guy. Someone has set this group up and invited you as well as many others, and it's incredibly rude if you do this. It's pretty much the equivalent of walking up to some random grandmother in the street and presenting them with a double middle finger. Gorok is much like PathRunner, the ugly duckling if you would. Now Gorok is a level 93 rare elite which will spawn at one of his 5 spawn points across Frostfire Ridge, and upon a kill he will drop the Great Grey Tusk. The spawn timer on this one is again between 5 to 16 hours long, depending on how lucky you are. But as you saw, the points are rather distant from one another, making it quite a long journey on foot, so a useful item you can use to travel the long distance across your desired path is Aviana's Feather, which is obtained from a mission in your garrison's inn. This item sends you soaring through the air and deploying wings, allowing you to glide back down with pace. An easier way to check all points is not to camp by yourself though. The whole process can be made a lot easier if you find others to cover points with you, and to notify you if there's a sighting to come running over. These groups can occasionally come up from pre-made, or feel free to make one yourself. People will join. If these rares are engaged before everyone gets there, and you're paranoid that you may not get the mount even if you're in the group, don't cast a spell to cause more damage to it. Stroll up to it, give it a quick melee backhand. That way you're giving people who are not there to have a chance to get it into view. Moving on to the more bigger rare elites, Nak the Thunderer. Nak is a level 100 rare elite and can be quite the challenge to solo if you're undergeared. So there's your reason to recruit many others. When this NPC spawns, it can show up at one of his 5 random spawn points across Nagrand, and upon a kill it will drop a Bloodhoof Bull. And the spawn timer of this is a little bit more steeper than those of the starter zone rares, ranging as low as 15 hours to a maximum of 28 hours. So hope and pray you can find it on pre-made. But if you feel you want to discover it yourself, the camping process is easier at this moment in time, as of 6.1.2, because NPC Scan picks these up automatically. Cheesy but appropriate. But the way things go, Blizzard will probably change this in the far future, so if you're watching in the future, then you'll have to resort to the macro in the description. The best time to go looking for these rares is on the same day as a server reset. All spawn timers are reset to 0, meaning you know exactly how long you have to wait before something will show up. Nak in particular, add 15 hours onto whenever the servers came back up and you can begin your camping journey then. Probably best if you didn't camp straight away. It will be a complete waste of time. Lacock is very similar to Nak. They're both in the same zone, they're both level 100, and they both have 5 spawn points, but they do not have the same spawn timer. Lacock can spawn as fast as 12 hours, but could end up taking a newspaper into the toilet, increasing his spawn timer by 16 hours, meaning it could take as long as 28 hours for him to spawn. But upon the kill, it would drop the mottled Meadow Stomper. Another technique people use when camping out for these rares is server hopping. Because Draenor is not a cross-realm zone yet, each server has its own rare NPC and they can all be up at different times, increasing the probability you may find it by jumping all over the place. So find a group on pre-made which is letting you use their server for hopping, and you may get lucky. If you do find something this way, send off a raid warning to the leader, letting them know what you have found. From there the leader will be able to change the name of the group to attract more people to go after the mount. Be patient and wait for everyone to get there. If the rare has been engaged and lots of people are still on their way, try and delay the kill. If you can, use some crowd control on the NPC to keep it alive a bit longer. Two main abilities are a mage's polymorph and a druid's cyclone. Sulphide is a level 97 rare elite which swims around the waters in Talador, but where he will swim will be one of his 5 random spawn locations. The spawn timer on this rare is another dire one, ranging between 12 to 28 hours, and upon a kill he would drop a Sapphire River Beast. The location of this rare is rather spread out, and so a nice tip to use for this one is to stand at one of the points and use a fast sight of ability to cast your view into the distance, rather than waiting 10 minutes for your Aviana's Feather to come off cooldown before you can do another loop of the zone. This way you can search locations more frequently. If you do happen to get a glimpse of Silthide, the best way to travel on foot in this zone is on a water strider, or any other mount that can travel across water. This will speed up the process and will stop you from having a heart failure. However, if you are in completely the wrong zone and you stumble across a rare in pre-made, hope that there is a trusty warlock in group that can get summons going to get everyone there. Instead of typing 123 into chat, at least make a start to get over there. You can still accept the summon whilst you're flying on the flight path. All of these rares that spawn across Draenor are very much identical to the mount model of which they drop. The NPCs, however, are bigger versions and don't have saddles. Poundfist is the big one people want, mainly because of its new model and the fact that it's the rarest of the Draenor rares to come across. Now Poundfist is a level 95 rare elite which will spawn at either one of his 5 spawn locations, and upon a kill he will drop a Sunhide Grondling. And if you thought the previous Draenor rare timers were steep, this NPC has a spawn range of 48 to 142 hours. Say goodbye to your week. Poundfist groups are not hard to come by on pre-made. There will usually be at least a couple happening every week, and they are the popular ones, forming at least a full raid group when camping for him. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a recording of my encounter with Poundfist. I got him rather unexpectedly, and at the time I was not screen recording. But I discovered him on a Sunday evening at 11 past 7 server time, 5 days after the reset, exactly 134 hours 15 minutes after reset. It's possible that Poundfist may have been on his second spawn of the week, or it was one of his long ones. Either way, I was very lucky. But I was 10 minutes from going out in the evening, and I thought to myself, there's no harm in one last check. I was travelling up to the North Point whilst talking to one of my friends, and about halfway I get this mental image of NPC scan going off, me spamming messages to my friend to get on up here. I'm glad I prepared. Off goes NPC scan, away goes hundreds of messages, the group invites, my coolness, yet I cannot see him. Was he on his last breath? Was there some little gnome rogue biting his feet? I turn the corner. I see this beast pounding the ground with his fists. Excuse the pun, but it was Poundfist. To everyone, all the best of luck on your journeys to get the Draenor mounts, but for now, thank you all for watching and be sure to tell us your story and don't forget to check out other guides listed on this channel. Take care.